They always said I was last. Even my parents, even my sister, with her careless smirk, made sure I never forgot it. Your sister's family comes first, you always last. Those words weren't just cruel, they were a map. I memorized every contour, every shadow in that map. I smiled. I said, "Good to know." But inside, a quiet, cold fire ignited. I remembered the first time I felt the sting. Not here, not now, it was years ago. I had poured myself into the family business, into every holiday, every sacrifice. I believed loyalty was a shield. My sister, she laughed in the halls of our parents' home, while I stayed late, doing their bidding, picking up their forgotten errands, covering their mistakes. I trusted her. I loved her, in the way siblings sometimes fool themselves into believing. The cracks started small. She began taking decisions without telling me, misdirecting my parents, leaving me out of family plans. A forgotten text, a casual lie. I noticed, quietly. I always notice. Then came the undeniable proof, a bank statement, a whisper of deceit, and a message I wasn't meant to see. She had been siphoning money meant for joint investments for years, and my parents? They looked away. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was calculating. I separated my accounts the same day, discreetly, no explanation, no confrontation. Every cent, every plan, every contingency was moved under my name, untouched, untraceable. I smiled at her smugness as if nothing had changed. Let her believe the old hierarchy still stood. Let her think she'd won. Then, life, in its ironic precision, gave her a test, a family emergency. They called, voice trembling, eyes expecting me to bend. The same sister who'd sneered at me, the same parents who'd relegated me to last place, suddenly needed me. Their calls carried desperation. They assumed generosity was automatic. I answered, calm, polite, cold. "Of course," I said, and I listened. Their plan was transparent, predictable. They wanted me to fund the emergency entirely, my money, my resources, my energy. They assumed loyalty, my obedience. But I had separated everything. I had prepared, mapped every escape route, every leverage point. The first move was financial. I offered them what looked like compliance, a transfer they believed complete. In reality, it was routed. Fees, delays, complications. Every delay was a gentle lesson in frustration. They called me repeatedly. I answered selectively. I appeared distracted, busy. Helpful, but not obedient. Every voice message, every frantic email I archived. Every plea went unanswered. Meanwhile, I revealed the truth to my sister's closest confidant, someone I knew she trusted, someone she underestimated. A simple, damning fact about her finances came to light. I let it slip casually, a conversation overheard. The fire spread faster than I expected. She had built a house of cards. I was simply knocking on the first one. The climax came quietly. They arrived at my door, faces pale, eyes wide, expecting the obedient sibling, the one who would rescue them. I opened the door. The room smelled of urgency and entitlement. I served them a cup of coffee. I let them stew in the small domestic calm before the storm. "I'm sorry," my sister began, voice tight. We thought—" I shook my head, calm, vengeful, precise. "You thought I'd always come last, that I'd always pay for your mistakes, that I'd bend again. Good to know." The revelation hit them like ice water. The financial trail, the rerouted accounts, the whispered truths, the social exposures. They saw, piece by piece, that I had outmaneuvered them. Every assumption, every expectation they had about me had been their own undoing. I watched their expressions shift from disbelief to panic. I didn't yell, I didn't plead, I just watched. By the end, they were frozen. Not in anger, not in sorrow, frozen by realization. Every favor they expected, every loyalty they assumed had been carefully dismantled. The power was mine, not through loud confrontation, but through meticulous preparation, patience and cold intelligence. The game had been set years ago. I only needed the right moment. I watched them leave. I didn't gloat aloud. I didn't need to. The look on their faces said everything. I felt relief first, then a subtle satisfaction. Justice is sweeter when it is silent, when it does not scream, when it leaves the betrayer questioning every word they ever said. And I rose, not with anger, not with triumph, but with the quiet power of someone who knows they are finally first, finally untouchable. Good to know, I whispered again, this time to myself. No one ever comes last when they've mastered the game.